Nancy had always been captivated by the idea of exploring places untouched by the chaos of modern life. At 22, she often found herself daydreaming about hidden corners of the world, places where time seemed to stand still. Her best friend Luna, a spirited 21-year-old with a penchant for adventure, shared her enthusiasm. So when Nancy stumbled upon an article about an ancient village nestled deep within an untouched forest, she knew it was the perfect destination for their next escapade. "Luna, you have to see this," Nancy said, holding up her phone to show her friend the pictures of the village. The images depicted moss-covered stone houses, winding cobblestone paths, and towering trees that seemed to cradle the village in their embrace. Luna's eyes sparkled with excitement. "It's like something out of a fairy tale. When do we leave?" A week later, the two friends found themselves on a narrow dirt road leading into the forest. The air was crisp, carrying the earthy scent of pine and damp soil. Nancy and Luna had packed light but made sure to bring essentials: sturdy boots, warm jackets, and a camera to capture their adventure. The journey to the village was no easy feat. The dirt road soon gave way to a narrow trail that wound through dense woods. Sunlight filtered through the canopy, casting dappled shadows on the ground. Birds chirped melodiously, and the occasional rustle of leaves hinted at the presence of unseen animals. "Are we sure this is the right way?" Luna asked, glancing at the map on her phone. The GPS signal had vanished an hour ago, leaving them to rely on a printed map Nancy had brought. "According to this, we're close," Nancy replied, tracing their route with her finger. "Just a bit further." After what felt like hours, the forest began to thin, and the trail opened into a clearing. There it was, the old village. The sight took their breath away. Stone cottages with ivy-covered walls stood in neat rows, their thatched roofs blending seamlessly with the surroundings. A small brook ran through the center of the village, its gentle babbling adding to the serene atmosphere. "It's even more beautiful than I imagined," Luna whispered, her voice filled with awe. As they walked into the village, they noticed how still it was. There were no cars, no buzzing of electricity, only the sounds of nature. It was as if they had stepped back in time. An elderly woman, dressed in traditional attire, emerged from one of the cottages. Her face was lined with wrinkles, but her eyes were warm and welcoming. "Welcome to Eldermere," she said, her voice soft but clear. "We don't get many visitors here. What brings you to our village?" Nancy explained how they had read about the village and wanted to experience its beauty firsthand. The woman introduced herself as Maura and offered to show them around. As they followed her, she shared stories about the village's history. Eldermere had been established centuries ago by settlers seeking refuge from the outside world. Over time, it had become a haven for those who valued simplicity and harmony with nature. "Many of us have lived here our entire lives," Maura said. "We cherish our traditions and the peace this place brings." Nancy and Luna were enchanted by the village's charm. They visited the small chapel at the edge of the village, where intricate carvings adorned the wooden doors. They explored the communal garden, bursting with vibrant flowers and vegetables. The villagers they met were kind and curious, eager to hear about the world beyond the forest. As the sun began to set, Maura invited them to stay the night in her cottage. The interior was cozy with a stone fireplace, handmade furniture, and shelves lined with books and trinkets. Maura prepared a simple yet delicious meal of vegetable stew and freshly baked bread. Over dinner, she shared more stories about the village, including tales of mysterious lights that sometimes appeared in the forest at night. Some say they're spirits, Maura said with a twinkle in her eye. Others believe they're just fireflies. But no one has ever dared to follow them. Intrigued, Nancy and Luna decided to venture into the forest after dark. Armed with flashlights and a sense of curiosity, they followed the faint glow of lights that flickered among the trees. The forest seemed different at night, its shadows deeper and its sounds more pronounced. The lights danced ahead of them, always just out of reach. "Do you think they're really spirits?" Luna asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "I don't know," Nancy replied, "but there's something magical about this place." Their journey led them to a small clearing where the lights seemed to converge. In the center stood a massive oak tree, its gnarled branches stretching toward the sky. The air was thick with an unexplainable energy, and for a moment the friends stood in silence, taking it all in. Suddenly, the lights began to fade, and the forest grew still. It was as if the world was holding its breath. Then a soft breeze rustled the leaves and the spell was broken. "We should head back," Nancy said, glancing at her watch. It was well past midnight. The next morning they shared their experience with Maura, who listened with a knowing smile. "The forest has its secrets," she said. "Perhaps it chose to share a glimpse of them with you." As they prepared to leave Eldermere, Nancy and Luna felt a pang of sadness. Their time in the village had been short but unforgettable. The simplicity of life there, the kindness of its people, and the mysteries of the forest had left a lasting impression on them. "Promise me we'll come back someday," Luna said as they walked back to the trail. "Definitely," Nancy replied. "This place feels like a dream, and I'm not ready to let it go." As they made their way out of the forest, the memories of Eldermere stayed with them, a reminder that magic could still be found in the world if one knew where to look.